Patriots and the Jets are playing in Foxborough on Sunday. The early forecast is calling for a lot of snow. Who would not let his mind travel back to that icy, snowy day 25 years ago today? Before surreptitious cameras, we think, and before NFL rules specifically addressed it, and don't you know Don Shula quickly saw to that. Snow and ice covering that concrete, hard synthetic turf that day. The Patriots made NFL history and legend. Chris Connolly on what is forever remembered as the snowplow game.
At a factory in Raleigh, North Carolina, John Deere tractors roll off the assembly line. Tractors known for their toughness and longevity. Which one of these models will go on to become a legend? Like the 314.
You can use tilling attachments for gardening, you can mow, you can blow snow, you can use a broom to make a clearing for snow on a football field.
Yes, you can. And there's one John Deere model 314 that's held a special place in some fans' hearts ever since December 12, 1982, thanks to the game between Miami and New England, still known as the snowplow game. At the wheel was this man, 24-year-old Mark Henderson, perhaps the least likely hero in NFL history. How unlikely? Well, at the time, Mark Henderson was serving a jail term.
I was in for burglary. We were breaking into people's houses. It was pretty bad. I was in jail for 2 years, 5 months, 3 weeks, and 6 days.
As part of his jail sentence, Henderson was granted work release. His job was to serve on the crew Sundays at the Patriots' home field, Schaefer Stadium. By game time, a foot of snow had fallen on the artificial turf, which was already covered by a sheet of ice.
My job was to keep the major markers clear and the sidelines, just so we could tell when there was a first down or a guy stepped out of bounds. So in between the timeouts, I would roll around the field and try to clear those lines.
The brutal conditions, ice, snow, wind, cold, made scoring plays seem impossible, especially field goals.
It was snowing. You couldn't see the lines across the field. You couldn't see the sideline. So that's why they hired a guy with a snowplow. That guy was working hard to do the job, and then he was asked to do another job.
That other job got started toward the end of the fourth quarter of what was still a scoreless game, with quarterback Steve Grogan at the Pats' helm and the team's British-born kicker, John Smith, on the sideline.
Steve Grogan, who was my best buddy on the team, he comes running me on the sideline. He says, "Smitty, how close I got to get you?" I said, "You got to get me inside 40, middle 30s. You got to get me inside 40." And I said, "What I got to have is a timeout, because I need to dig out the ice."
With 4:45 left in the fourth quarter, the Patriots drove deep into Dolphins territory, setting up a 33-yard field goal.
We did call timeout with the idea of chipping away the ice, and Cavanaugh and Smith are out there chipping away to get hopefully a bare spot, and they weren't very successful. Grogan comes up to me and says, "Hey, Ron, Coach, why don't you go down and get that snowplow and run him out there?" And I go, "Wow, what an idea."
Maya said to me, "Get on that thing and get out there and do something," is what he said. I knew exactly what he was talking about, so I jumped right on it and took off.
So I figured if he went right down the line, it would give our blockers a better chance to get footing and give John some extra time. So I actually ran down and hollered at the guy and said, "Go down the line." And as everybody knows, he changed the plan on his own when he got out there.
In fact, Henderson ran a now legendary misdirection play.
Gets on there right away. He starts on the 20-yard line like, you know, it's some big secret what he's going to do. And I thought that was pretty clever. And he sweeps out to the 22 and cuts a perfect arc for a left-footed soccer kicker. I don't know how he did that.
The holder was Matt Cavanaugh. And Matt just looked at me and he said, "All right, buddy, come on, follow me."
So I'm standing on the sideline thinking, should I run out onto the field and throw myself in front of the snowplow?
A 33-yard attempt to break the scoreless tie. On the way. It's good.
Oh, The crowd went wild. So at the end of the game, the whole crowd was yelling my name. Henderson, Henderson. It was fantastic.
The Patriots won the game 3-0, but the controversy had just begun.
It probably wasn't right. The guy did it on his own. It was not the Patriot organization or players or anybody else that told him to make that little swerve. And so what do? You continue to play.
As you know, Coach Shula was rather upset and considered the snowplow to be the reason we made the kick.
Yeah, I was plenty annoyed after that game because, you know, that's a game that nobody should have won. I have to admit that I thought it was a very unfair act, and it let them do something that they wouldn't have been able to do on a regular field.
That makes me feel really good because here we have the most winningest coach of all in the NFL history. To think that I stole one of his victories is kind of fun.
It would be the last thing Mark Henderson ever stole. Since his release, he says he stayed on the right side of the law. Meanwhile, in the offseason, Shula got the competition committee to outlaw selective snow clearing. But by then, the snowplow game was an NFL classic.
I'd like to clarify, there was nothing illegal about what we did. You know, if a memo came out or something earlier about how to operate in inclement conditions, we would have followed it.
I've run into Ron Meyer on a couple of occasions, and, you know, we talk about it and joke about it and laugh about it. And he laughs more than I do.